the Live and Create podcast.
What is up? I'm Miguel Antonio, and you are listening to the Live and Create podcast. It's where I interview artists and entrepreneurs about what it means to live a great life and create great things. And today is the recap. Back in November, if you've been listening for a while, I started doing a monthly recap. And but this one is going to be 2 months crammed together because December I didn't do a recap. We only had a handful of episodes. January just had a handful of episodes. We had the holidays, we had a lot of life happening, and I was going full on into learning production. I've been on a journey of learning how to produce and mix and master our band's music. We've had the privilege of working with some great producers in the past, producers like Josh Gleave, where we hired them to do those pieces, but working alongside them and learning so much from them. And now with their coaching as well, moving into producing our own music as well, not just writing it, but producing it, mixing it, mastering, as we work to get more into what's called sync licensing. It's kind of twofold. We want to release more music publicly out to you guys, the fans, but we also are going headstrong into the sync licensing world, which essentially is just getting our music into movies, TV shows, commercials, that kind of thing. But to do that effectively, you have to put out a lot of music and you have to be able to do it very quickly. So we're having to learn those skills. So that's where I've been and putting a lot of energy in. And as a band, we've been kind of getting the rudder set that way so we can steer towards that course. So we are going to have a lot of music coming out this year. That is the plan. At minimum 2 EPs, maybe some more out there. And then hopefully sooner than later, we'll be able to announce getting some licensing opportunities out there and seeing the music out in different mediums. But yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We still got a lot of fucking work to do. But today is December and January recap. And essentially what I'm going to do today is I'm going to review some of the clips that we put out. So we do full episodes of the podcast, but on our social media sites, on the band social media sites, we put out a clip from each podcast just to give a taste of what the conversation is about, hopefully inspiring people to go look at the full video. So if you haven't followed us there, make sure you follow us at Run With It Band. That's at Run With It Band, anywhere you follow people at. And then also, just to let you know, we got full video episodes on Spotify. We got full video episodes on YouTube, and then full audio episodes throughout anywhere you actually stream your podcast from. So make sure you go check those out as well. So today, again, we're doing a recap. This is a recap of December and January. We got episodes 144 through 150. And we got Ashleigh, Paige, Kelsey Cook, Ryan Lynch, Daniel Owen, Brittany Frompavich. I'm sorry, Brittany. Let me try that again. Brittany Frompavich, Riker House, and Amanda Hughey. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some clips. I'm going to play the clip that we put out there. It's about usually 30 seconds to a minute long. And just reflect on it with you guys, reflect on how it impacted me, how that conversation impacted me, or maybe some of the feedback I've gotten from other people as well. I hope that it re-inspires you guys and gets you excited for the episodes coming up. We got more great episodes already ready to go for February and beyond. So let's start with the first clip. We're going to bring in Ashleigh. Here we go.
2 things can be true at once.
Yeah.
2 things can be true.
We'll start that over.
2 things can be true at once.
Yeah.
2 things can be true. Live in the peace. Enjoy the things that you have now, but still have that passion and fire and drive. Yeah. To know that there are other great things that you can also experience. Because I think it is really easy to get so wrapped up in wanting to do more, do better, have more, and grow, which is incredibly important. But then what is the point if you can't be happy with any of it? Because then you grow and then you still want to grow and you get
there and you're not happy either. You're like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta take some time to really to sit in the good that you have going in any given moment.
Doing more, getting better, growing things, like building big strategies and following them, executing all of that. I love all of that. It fits me. It suits me. It's who I am. It's who I've always been. When I've tried not to do that, I find myself unhappy as well. But I love this clip because I need this reminder all the time. I love Ashleigh's perspective on this. I love this episode with her. We've had many great conversations. We perform in a band together called Twice on Sunday. And before shows, after shows, had great conversations about art and about how it looks to live and actually enjoy your life in the midst of art, in the midst of pursuing great things. And she broke it down very clearly here that you got to find a way in the midst of building great things and in the midst of creating great things. You have to find a way to enjoy it, to enjoy the process, to enjoy yourself, to enjoy the people around you, because at the end of the day, like, that's really all you got is that journey. There's a guy named Alex Hermosi that I talk about a lot, in this podcast, various episodes. He's an investor, content creator. And one thing he talks about is playing games that you actually can't win. And he talks about how business is a game that you can't win. Like, there's always somewhere you can go with it, and then you die. And then he talks about how marriage, like, is a game you can't necessarily win because you just keep getting better and better at it, and then you die. And he talks about how those are honestly some of the best games that you can play because there's always somewhere to improve, always somewhere to grow. But it also brings that reality that there's no end to it. So you better learn how to enjoy the everyday process of whatever it is you're doing. And sometimes it's a struggle. It's a struggle as an artist, as an entrepreneur. And really, if you're an artist trying to make a living, you are an entrepreneur at this point, even if you don't see yourself as that. But yeah, a great reminder to focus on the moments, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. Next up, we got Kelsey Cook.
Well, again, to create something great, I believe you have to find that greatness in yourself. It's so hard because what is greatness? To me, greatness is being the best version of myself. And with that, I'm being honest, I'm being truthful, and therefore what I'm giving out has great intention. So if I have great intention, then anything that I do end up creating just happens to be great. What I think really is a lot of what people may think greatness is what comes from it, and again, if I can give it, it doesn't necessarily matter what other people think.
As long as I've known Kelsey, she has just always been unapologetically her. And it's inspiring. It's inspiring to be with her on stage. It's inspiring to have conversations with her because she understands, I think, her uniqueness and allows that to just overflow. And for someone like me, I am like inherently, naturally a people pleaser. So being around someone with that kind of energy reminds me to understand myself and just let the greatness that is inside just overflow instead of trying to impress everyone else. And that's why I love this clip. It's a reminder. Well, I love it because she lives this out. I see it all the time. But it's also a reminder to just be yourself and let greatness overflow. Let greatness overflow from who you are. So yeah, next clip, we got Ryan. Let's do it.
I would define creating great things as starting with something that you're happy about and watching that creation blossom into something. And along the way, I think that creation is going to take shape in a lot of different ways. If it's a song, it might, change the lyrics or the melody here or there. If it's your vision for your band, you might have a couple different members or a different route. Maybe you started going for the wedding industry and now you want to do clubs or, whatever. But really having something you're passionate about and just going for it and letting it mature in the way that, the universe is going to influence, but also with your own drive. You can influence your own creation, and the furthest that you push it is the furthest that it's going to go. So
now on the podcast, I often have guests that the first time we're meeting is on this, video platform. and getting to know them. I love that because it helps me meet new folks doing new things and fresh things from really all over the world. But what's been unique about these clips here is almost all of these folks I actually know and have spent time and shared stages with. Ryan being one of them. We just had a duo show several months back, and it was one of those shows. It was pretty cool because I get a text that they double booked us. It was supposed to be a solo show, and the venue owners, Iron Horse in Leawood, Kansas, and they realized they double booked us, but they said, "Hey, we double booked you with Ryan. Would you be willing to do a duo night? And we'll just pay you guys both your actual rate." So nobody lost any money, and we still got to have a gig. And then finally, Ryan and I got to share the stage, and we had a blast. I had an incredible night that evening. I'm hoping to do that more down the road with Ryan as well. But my point being is I get to see a lot of these folks and see how they live their lives and over a long period of time. And Ryan, this is his second time being on the podcast. And the first time his band was kind of falling apart, and he was trying to figure out where to go. And I watched over the next 18 months as he rebuilt his band, rebuilt really himself in a lot of ways, and just started blossoming. The band started growing, and seeing them, hit the road more, seeing them get bigger and better gigs, seeing him get more into his own songwriting. It's been incredible to watch it grow. And I love it when people talk about things like he did in this clip about the idea of having a dream and then letting it mature. I love when people talk about things and then you actually see them living it out. And that's definitely what he's doing. And that there is a great reminder as well. You can have your goals, you can know where you want to take things, but you have to let it grow and you have to let it take shape. And there might be some things along the way that change for you. When we started Run With It, we had a bunch of whiteboards everywhere doing all of our plans. I took a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. They're really fun. And I created a 3-year plan with a bunch of milestones, color coded, and everything is super nice, super sexy spreadsheet. And it had everything tracked out for us as a band. This is several years back. And what's funny is that first year we hit almost every milestone and almost on time, which was amazing. Then the second year we started slipping off. And then by halfway through the second year, it just completely went in different directions because there was a lot of things we couldn't foresee. There was opportunities that we had no idea that existed that ended up being a good thing. There's also struggles that we had no idea would pop up and how we would adjust to those things. And that was a great lesson that you can have your goals. You can have even your milestones along the way as an artist, as a business person. But you also have to be willing to let it grow and mature on its own and see the opportunities and see the changes that need to happen. And then the furthest you take it is as far as it'll go, I think is how he ended that clip. And I love that because at the end of the day, if you're at the head of the ship, if you're the captain of the ship, it's on you. It's on you. When the band fails, it's on me as the leader. If we're not accomplishing the things we want to do, I think it's on me as a leader, and it's on you as well if you're at the helm of whatever it is you're building. And in that idea, like the furthest you want to take is as far as it'll go. How far do you want to take this? How big do you want this to be? What kind of impact do you want to make? Are you going to do what is necessary to get there? And I say that I'm kind of getting chills right now because we're doing some initiatives as a band, but I'm realizing even as I speak, oh, I got to fix this. Ooh, I need to tweak this. Ooh, this is how we could change that. The furthest you want to take it is as far as it'll go. All right, next clip is Daniel Owen. Right now in your life, how would you define creating great things?
I want to do more things I can do.
So more music, more podcasts, more concerts.
I need to make something happen. I mean, I love creating things. Just want to do more.
When you say something happen, want to make something happen, is there a particular result you're looking for?
In my hope, I would love to do something great in this world and make it a better place for people with disabilities.
Man, Daniel Owen is awesome, dude. He has for years supported Run With It. coming out to shows, helping us get into shows, putting things together, following us online, sharing us. It's been incredible to have him around the band. He also did an incredible thing. He introduced me to the Deadpool world. I was not into Deadpool, had no idea what Deadpool was, to be honest. And then the band was on the road out, and we were playing a show, or we were doing a radio interview with Daniel in Rhode Island. And he lived out there at the time, invited the band to crash at his place. And that's where they convinced me to watch Deadpool. And it changed my life. Like, those are Christmas movies now for us. I know it's weird, but now me and my boys watch Deadpool damn near every Christmas season, mainly just because that's when we actually have time to sit down and watch multiple movies back to back. Daniel, thank you for that. But even more important than all those things, Daniel is just an inspiring dude. Daniel lives with, it's called hereditary spastic paraplegia. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but hereditary spastic paraplegia. And he lives with this disability, but he doesn't let it stop him. In fact, it seems to fuel him, where, as he said in that clip, he's trying his best to make a better world for other people with disabilities. And then he also does incredible work with supporting other artists, creating his own art, putting it out in the world. We were just talking on the phone just like a week ago, where he's trying to upgrade what he's doing in the podcast world. And yeah, I love what he's doing. It's inspiring, and I hope you get to check out what Daniel Owen is up to. All right, next clip is from Brittany. Here we go.
There will come a time when you will want to quit.
And don't do it. Like, don't be Miguel.
You know what? I'm gonna add something to that really quick, because I think there's something really important there. But I will answer your question, and that is, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I know you're saying, like, don't do it, and you're totally right with that opinion. But the question is, when you come back, you have to choose it, and that's important. And you actually are clear why you're choosing to come back to it. When this got broken, I know that, like for me, there are a few moments where it was like all the physical therapy and everything I was going to have to do, like, you are choosing to come back. And so some part of me was also like, let's just see what comes back. But, you know, when you're stepping into, you're choosing it. You could bail. Yeah. You could just tell people, like, it's fucked up, I can't play anymore. You know, and I'm like, no, I'm going to choose it.
Brittany is a brilliant bass player, brilliant educator, and brilliant entrepreneur as well. She's created all these different things for finding a way to carve out her own future in the music industry. I love this conversation that we had in here. And this conversation, it's hard to put the whole thing in like a 1-minute clip, but where we talked about the concept, as she talked about, choosing your own path, choosing your own future, and knowing that it's where you want to go. But then also embracing the journey of it. I reference a piece of, like, don't quit like Miguel. If you have followed the band for a while, you know that halfway through or a few years back, the band we were just working hard. We were touring nonstop, doing a ton of things, seeing a lot of great success in a lot of ways, but the money was not catching up. And so for me, I felt like at the time, the best choice I could make was just to pull the plug on the music, pull the plug on the band, give up music altogether, go get a real job, that kind of thing. And in that process, realized that no, music is 100% where I need to be, because trying different things, nothing clicked along that way. So it was like, okay, we got to figure out this point. And when Daniel and I, we talk about our drummer, we talk about that season. And I'm like, man, I'm so mad at myself half the time for ending, because we were really getting traction, building fan base all over the world. And I'm like, imagine if we wouldn't have quit. Imagine if we wouldn't have quit. But now in some ways, I feel like it maybe it was an essential part of our journey. And that's something Daniel and I talk about a lot, is that embracing that we needed that. We needed to do a lot of personal growth along the way. We need to get our priorities straight, and we need to get our strategies straight, because coming back, putting the band back online and getting us moving forward, we've come at it now with a different approach and a different mentality that I don't know if we would have ever experienced if we hadn't taken that time off. So I like that she emphasized, don't be mad about that. Just know when you come back to it. You have chosen this. This is the path for you. Next clip, Riker.
But communication, being involved, getting past that mind block, doing it. You got a crazy business idea. You never have a crazy business idea until you make it true. And then everyone's going to tell you you're crazy for trying it. It all starts within yourself, and you got to get past that.
So Riker is a really cool dude. He is a high school student at Smithville, in Smithville, Missouri. And he is a podcaster and a business owner as well, even though he's 17, also working in baseball. And I was introduced to him through Don Simon, former guest of the podcast as well. Don Simon's a music lawyer and educator, and Don Simon is his teacher there at the high school. And it's been amazing to see what having a great teacher can do and how it can like fuel these students into doing incredible things. I think their podcast just got syndicated recently. So it's inspiring to hear, it's inspiring to hear his story. So definitely check out that podcast. And I love this perspective here is like, you got to know, again, it's kind of that inward work. You got to know where you're at here. You got to work on the internal parts of you to move forward for your outward goals. You have to have like that confidence and that focus, because he shares his stories of people doubting him. You know, he's a high schooler, people like other high schoolers basically essentially like talking shit. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this instead of just like going out and partying or going out and doing XYZ? But he knows where he wants to go. So he's doing this work like, boom, this is who I am internally. I'm not going to let the outward pressures get to me. I'm going to move forward towards my goals and to understand where he wants to go. Excuse me. All right. For the last one, we got Amanda.
What is the thing holding me back? I'm scared to look like an asshole, you know? So it's like, how do we really break through and just try? Like, just in full expression, as authentic as you can be in the moment, knowing you might be wrong, knowing it might not pop off, people might not like it, but like, so much you have to try. Like, don't be afraid of looking like an asshole.
I love it.
And an asshole in the way of like, oh, that was dumb. Oh, with you. Be afraid of looking like an asshole if you're being an asshole.
Being an asshole.
But but it's different, you know?
Don't be afraid to look like an asshole, but don't be an asshole.
Exactly.
Right? Is that the...
Exactly.
So, context, right? This was probably... we did probably an hour and 20 minutes on this whole thing, but this particular conversation, don't be an asshole, was probably about, I think, 15 to 20 minutes total. So I was trying to boil down that conversation to 1 minute in the edit, which is tough. And I think I may have confused some people. There's a YouTube comment where they thought we were telling people to be assholes. But that is not what she was getting at all. And I hope you can see the meaning in that. To me, it was pretty clear. She is talking about taking risks and doing something where you might be out of step with everybody else around you, taking those risks where you could be perceived as being dumb, you know, where people, not saying you're an asshole, but they're like, look at this asshole over here. He looks like an idiot kind of thing. Like being willing to risk that just as a human, as an artist. And I think that's a powerful lesson. A powerful lesson. I hope, again, in the edit, I hope the edit made sense out there, because it was a great conversation. I love her perspective of that. And she lives it out. I've gotten to share stages with her, great conversations backstage about these concepts as an artist and taking these risks, and as a human being, just like going out there and being fully who you are. And she's one of the members of a band, an all-girl band called Flat Susan, where they're doing great stuff here in Kansas City. And you can tell that's the ethos of their band as well, to be simply and purely who they are, even if they feel like other people might think it's stupid. They don't care. And what it does is it kind of lightens up the room and it draws everyone in. It draws, maybe not everyone, but it draws the right people in who are like, yes, I feel that energy. I feel that vibe. And this particular conversation with Amanda, the full episode, was a very unique one for me as well. I don't talk about this on the podcast very often because it doesn't really come up. But Amanda and I both have similar stories where we were very, very devout religious people and like fully given our lives to ministry, then eventually walked away from all that, walking away from organized religion, and then learning how to rebuild our lives and rebuild ourselves under a whole new world that we didn't know existed. And we got to talk about that for quite some time and hear her story and why she left that world. And I got to share a little bit of why I left that world. And it was just, in some ways, it's cathartic to have conversations with people who understand a little bit of some of the struggles you've been through. And so, yeah, a great one. We got a lot of other great podcasts coming up in February. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all those things. Again, full video on Spotify. We got full video on YouTube now, and then full audio everywhere else. And then we got the clips on social media. Follow us at Run With It Band, at Run With It Band. We put all the podcast stuff through the band's social media because, frankly, I just don't have enough time to start yet another social media site. So, yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Live and Create podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment or a review.
The Live and Create podcast.